She looked me dead in the eye, sugar-sweet voice masking the blade beneath. "You're not really my dad, so I forgot to put your name on the guest list." The crowd erupted, not in awkward chuckles, but in laughter sharpened to cut. Behind her glass of champagne, my ex-wife giggled. Her new husband gave me a smirk of victory. Even her mother, still holding the grudge from a decade ago, looked thrilled, like she'd waited years to see this exact moment. Everyone was laughing. Except me. I didn't flinch. I didn't frown. I just saw things clearly, finally. The music returned, the crowd drifted on, the moment forgotten by everyone but me. A photographer clicked photos of smiles that didn't reach anyone's eyes. I walked quietly to the gift table. Calm. Focused. I placed my envelope neatly on top of the others, plain, white, tasteful. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Then, without a word, I picked it back up and tore it, slowly, into confetti. The laughter stopped. She turned, puzzled, then worried. I gave her one last look. A small nod. Then walked out. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. The message had already been written. Her name is Ava. Or was. Depends how you define daughter. I raised her from the time she was 3, through tantrums, fevers, nightmares, and growing pains. I taught her how to ride a bike, kissed bruised knees, sat through dance recitals and dentist visits. I paid for ballet, braces, and every semester of college. She always knew I wasn't her biological father. And it never mattered. Not to me. Not to her. Not until Julia, my ex, began whispering venom into her ear. After the divorce, things turned. Slowly, at first. Fewer calls. Colder texts. Then nothing. Except the transfers. She never missed those. Wedding planning brought her back. Barely. "Of course you're invited, Dad," she said over the phone. One of the rare times she called. "You've done so much for me. I paid for the venue, the catering, the dress. I transferred a generous wedding gift into a trust under her name. Same as I'd always planned. But love built purely on obligation? That doesn't survive sabotage." I didn't want to believe it until I read the email about the seating chart. Her fiancé, some guy I'd never met, referred to me as Mr. Adams. A switch flipped. I noticed I was left out of every decision. Julia was handling everything. Her new husband, yes, the same man she cheated on me with, acted like he owned the place. When I offered to give a toast at the rehearsal dinner, Ava smiled and said, "Maybe keep it short." That's when it hit me. She'd rewritten her story. I wasn't the father. I was the footnote. I didn't fight. I didn't beg. Instead, I got to work. I called my lawyer and revised the trust. Quietly. Legally. A simple clause. The funds would only be released if she submitted one thing, a written acknowledgement, before the wedding, of the man who raised her. Just a signature. Just some honesty. Harmless. Unless you forget. That paper I dropped at the gift table? It was the revocation. She didn't find out until she tried to access the money later that night. I imagine her going through the torn paper like someone searching a fire's ashes for lost words, line by line, trying to piece back what she'd shredded. 3 days later, the first message came in. "Ava, what was that paper about?" I said nothing. 2 hours passed. "Ava, wait, was that the trust? Are you saying it's gone?" Then the phone rang. I let it buzz. Then came an email from Julia. "Bold move. This is petty. You're acting like a child." Childish. No. Childish was rewriting history and pretending the man who raised your daughter never existed. Childish was letting your daughter stand on a stage and humiliate someone who had stood by her, without fail. This wasn't childish. This was consequence. I let them sit in silence for a week. Let it stretch, grow teeth. Then I sent Ava one message. "I didn't forget to be your father. You forgot to be my daughter." That was it. The story spread quickly. Relatives whispered. Friends pieced it together. Even the groom's family heard the tale of the gift that wasn't. Some said I overreacted. Let them. They weren't there. They didn't see her face fall. They didn't hear the laughter fade. They didn't read the clause she never knew she'd written in her actions. It's over now. No more calls. No more money. No more dad. People like to talk about unconditional love. But love, without respect, rots. I don't regret raising her. I regret thinking I had to keep proving I was enough. She wanted a wedding without her pretend father. Now she has it. And I have what I never knew I needed, freedom. No drama. No bitterness. Just release. Maybe one day she'll remember. Maybe not. But if she ever looks back, searching for who paid the tuition, who stayed silent through 1,000 small rejections, who never walked away until the end, she'll remember that paper. The one she tore up herself, long before I ever touched it.